ready for this?
Good morning and welcome to the Sports Daily. Broadcasting statewide from Kununurra in the north to Esperance in the south. We look forward to having your company for the next 3.5 hours. The Sports Daily is hosted from the studios of Tab Radio at 14 Hasler Road, Osborne Park. News, views, interviews. We will have it covered on the Sports Daily.
Take you around the way, so you're ready for this. Mind your own pace, cause I am back, yeah, the microphone race. Need to say, go to school in the pit. Ready for this.
Yes, good morning and welcome to the Sports Daily on this Wednesday morning, the 8th of October. Taylor Cortland with you, joining me as usual in the same seat he has been for 6 years. Digby Beecham.
Very good morning to you, Taylor. Good morning to everyone. 5 years. Nearly 6. Good morning. How are you?
I'm well.
That's good. That's good.
Well, how are you?
Well? Yeah, I am. Thank you very much. Good. How was your Tuesday? What did you learn?
I learned a lot.
Yeah, go on, enlighten me.
No, I think we'll just keep that under wraps for the moment.
All right.
We'll talk about that maybe at a later date.
Okay.
But outside of that, a little bit uneventful, sort of just after the Monday dissection of the weekend, then Tuesday you sort of just let it all settle, and now Wednesday we're ready to get back into racing. And
yes,
we've got a meeting there at Northam, and the nominations clearly dropped for Saturday and Ascot. Just whet the appetite a little bit, just get a little bit more excited.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a day closer till we get to walk into Ascot and just have a cold swan draft on the deck.
Yep, indeed. Looking forward to that, and looking forward to what promises to be a wonderful return to headquarters. There's no getting away from it. I think everyone who's involved and got some skin in the game, participants, jockeys, trainers, connections, staff, everyone is excited. We had a good chat to James Aldring. He's excited. He admitted he's got an extra spring in his step, has done for the last couple of weeks, and you can certainly appreciate why.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I should say what I did learn, actually. I think we've taken down the biggest name we've ever taken down here on the Sports Daily.
Oh, Novak.
Well, we didn't technically take him down, I suppose. He won, but we needed him to win in straight sets, but he took 3 sets to win. Beat his Spanish opponent. So that doesn't help our special.
No, he won the first set, lost the second, won the third. So he won the match, had to battle cramps and...
Oh, of course he did.
The old man. So, but yeah, clearly those conditions are quite oppressive there, because we spoke about Yannick Sinner 24 hours earlier, looking to have effectively a full body cramp and had to be assisted from the court. So, and Novak Djokovic battled. He won. Unfortunately, he didn't win in straight sets. So our little streak has come to an end. So we'll have to reload next Tuesday.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we were 6 from 6. Now we're 6 from the last 7, unfortunately. It was always funny playing football and your teammate cramping. It's never fun when it happens to you, but...
Yeah, it's like when you play cricket and someone gets hit in the box. It's
always funny when it's not you.
You sit there and you laugh, and then when you get hit there, it's like, oh, that hurts. And then you look around and everyone else is... Look around and everyone else is laughing. It's not funny.
Was it Liam Livingston a couple of years ago with the Scotch?
Yeah,
he copped it too in about 2 overs.
Yeah, right in the nuts. Let's be honest. Right in the nuts. And he was sore as a boil.
Oh, goodness gracious me.
Well.
Anyway, the things that entertain small minds, I guess.
Yeah, exactly right.
All right, the Sports Daily this morning. We'll catch up with Glenn Ingram, Brad Davidson and Chris Nelson for the tips on the Wednesday. Hopefully find a couple of winners. Shayne Williams along just after 6:30. And then David Hayes is flying from Sydney to Melbourne, this morning. We've been in touch. We were going to pre-record a chat, but he got on the plane a little bit earlier. So at about 6:45, hopefully, local time, we'll catch up with David Hayes after that trial of Ka Ying Rising yesterday, which... social media was divided.
Didn't it blow up social media? And saying that, even the more traditional, racing websites and the like, there was stories left, right and centre. It just goes to show you the profile that this horse has. And we always talk about it, and it shouldn't be, but it is. Everything seems to be price dependent in racing. If he's a Hong Kong horse and he's a $6 pop and he trials like that, you go, yep, okay, it's nice, that's good, he's on track. Because his 2's on, and he goes there and he gets beaten into third by Linebacker and also Overpass. Not beaten by a great margin, but still beaten nonetheless. We all go, oh, geez, I wouldn't be taking 2's on. And everyone who's got a ticket in the future is going, oh, I'm not sure, what do you think? And spoke to a couple of people yesterday who are invested and have him running through some multis. And I spoke to 2 people. One was fine. And the other one is like, what do you? I'm like, it's all right. Just
Who was the one that was worried?
I won't say the one that was worried, but he's genuinely.
Does he get a mention on the show regularly?
No, he doesn't.
Okay.
No. But he's a little bit alarmed because he's got him running through a couple of. He's also got him running through Woden in a Caulfield Guineas.
Oh.
And having watched the track work yesterday of Woden and Autumn Boy.
When did he put that on?
That was put on last week.
After the Golden Rose?
No. Yes, it was after the Golden Rose, yes. So when was Golden Rose? Last Saturday week?
Yeah.
Yep. So I think
he went Woden.
Woden.
In the
Yeah.
Caulfield Guineas. They're carrying rising.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. But that's what happens this time of year. There's a lot of multis rolling, isn't there?
It's tough to keep track, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. So
Some money jumps into account. You think, geez, where's that come from?
exactly.
You go back 6 months.
So what did you make of that trial yesterday? Out of 10, what would have you given it?
So 5's a pass mark. It's at 7.5.
I thought so. I thought it was fine, but it was
It was
interesting.
okay, but like you said, it's price related, and it has to be because from where we're sitting, we're punting into the race. So it has to be price related. You don't want to take I wouldn't want to take $1.50 off that. Just the fact
No.
linebacker, who's probably best suited at 1,400 metres a mile, sort of under wraps as well and sort of truck past the 2 leaders. So you're sort of trying to marry that up. But it'll be great to get an insight into David Hayes, and I know he's pretty keen. Every interview he did, he spoke about the horse's weight, so just how important that weight is and how quick he can strip that off. It'll be great to get some insight.
I think the track yesterday was still rated a good, yet Zach sort of said, the track was a little bit, softer than his...
compared to where he races.
That's true. But you hope come Everest Day, if that's a good track and that's a little bit, at this stage, a bit softer than what he likes, you don't want the rain that can fall in Sydney and all of a sudden he strikes a 6 or a 7 if his wheels were not exactly humming on top of the ground there on on Tuesday.
If it was a 6 or a 7, it'd be fascinating to watch the market because as we spoke about yesterday, I just think the Hong Kong people would just blindly bet into the world pool. So I can't see him drifting. That's the thing. Based on the money that will come from Hong Kong.
And Asia, yeah.
I just don't like the pari-mutuel. He might start $1.38.
Yeah, he may well do.
It doesn't matter what he does from here to then.
I'll be interested. We'll get Brad Davidson's thoughts on that trial when we speak to him just after 6 o'clock this morning.
Absolutely. And then looking forward to having Liam Peters in the studio just after 7 o'clock on the Sports Daily this morning, just trying to write down the horses to mention. I think I'm up to about 15.
Yeah, and you might be going in a bit light.
Yeah, exactly right. There's probably a couple I've missed there, but looking forward to getting the insight into Cosmic Crusader, Opportunistic, Love and More, Diamond Scene, among others.
I think one thing we all acknowledge is they've had a bit of a quiet run, the Cerise and White, but there has been a resurgence in the last 6 to 9 months. And Bob has always mentioned that this time of year, upcoming, is the time of year where you pay your bills. So there's pressure on Michael. He knows that, but, I'm sure that he's a competitive individual himself, and he's wanting to be able to, continue this excellent run of form that he's enjoyed with Clint for a fair while now and take it into the really pointy end of the racing. When I say season, but that period, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
And racing in WA is better to see the Cerise and White performing at the level that they're performing at now.
Yeah,
because it garners.
It's a global brand.
Yeah, it is. And people on the East Coast go, the Cerise and White. Peters Investments.
Yeah.
Had enormous success previously with Grant and Alana.
Yep.
It's exciting. Really is.
Yeah, can't wait. And then we've got the preview to today of Northam. Joey Azzopardi will be the special guest. We'll wrap up some of the sporting news you might have missed late yesterday on the other side of an update on the weather.
Today's Sports Daily for Darling View Thoroughbreds, the home of Playing God, Sprintex and Lightsaber. Go to darlingviewthoroughbreds.com.au for details.
Wednesday version of the Sports Daily. So, of course, you are taking on Scott Embry today at Northam with your best bets. A chance to go into the draw at the end of the week for a $100 Tab Touch voucher.
Race 4, number 2, Hoya Destroyer there today.
Race 4, number 2, Hoya Destroyer.
Yep.
Today's the day.
Well, you would hope so. Drawn a better gate today, so let's hope that Hoya Destroyer gets every hope.
We thought 2 starts ago was the day.
Yeah, exactly right. That we did indeed. So anyway, we'll wait and see how Hoya Destroyer goes, but looks a very suitable assignment, yes.
All right, beautiful. Scott's best there. We'll get along to our tipsters, Glenn Ingram, Brad Davidson, and also Chris Nelson very, very shortly. They'll be on the line to hopefully try and find us a couple of winners. On the text line here, Soz has got in touch nice and early. Morning, guys. Are West Coast going down the same track with their recruiting with risk, e.g. Brendan Starcevic and delisted Harry Schoenberg? TC, talk in Melbourne, your man Jordan Agoe could be on the market. Ask your man Brad. Or Nick Dacos. They're asking about Nick Dacos and Jordan Agoe. Might be gone.
Well, the one thing that caught the attention yesterday and made the ears prick up a little bit was that clubs were inquiring about Nick Dacos to his management. So I think everyone expects that Nick Dacos is not going anywhere, but the brazen nature of asking a question now, it just seems like we're in that space where you ask the question about anyone. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, if, I'm sure there had been clubs would have made, well, I don't know, we're assuming, but maybe even clubs have asked about Cozzy Pickett, who this year signed an 8-year deal to remain, 7 or 8 year deal to remain at Melbourne. Like, Nick Dacos it would seem, as rusted on a Collingwood person as you will get going forward. He's done everything at Collingwood. He is the face of Collingwood. He's arguably the best player in the game.
How does that work? A manager rings up Collingwood. How about Nick Dacos? And then I think. And then they say, "Oh no, I wouldn't have thought so." Rings his management, and then the original manager goes and just having a chat with Tom Morris, and we rang and asked about Nick Dacos, and then it gets reported.
List manager would list manager who would have the management and the managers of every player on speed dial. So you just ring and say, hey, now whilst we're talking about so-and-so and so-and-so, Nick, what's the status of nothing to see here? Sure. Okay, so he couldn't have his head turned? No, he's contracted until 2029. He's not going anywhere. Okay.
Nick who?
Yeah.
Nick Dacos?
Yeah.
What?
You can imagine Craig McRae and Justin Lepich yesterday when that news broke that clubs were asking about Nick Dacos. They'd be shaking their heads. So, but that's the world we're living in at the moment. It's a crazy world in AFL trade space.
Nick, no? What about Josh?
Yeah, anyone. Jordan Agoe, there'd been a bit of chatter about him, but I think he's very much a Collingwood.
He hasn't left Collingwood by now. I don't think he's going anywhere.
No, exactly right. They just need to get him right, get him healthy, get a full year out of him.
Yep. Absolutely.
Because he can change the fortunes of that football club in a heartbeat.
All right, 8 races on the program at Sale today, racing on this Wednesday. Glenn Ingram, hopefully nice and refreshed after a little bit of deserved time away, I must say. Glenn, a very good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning. Great to be with you. Yes, refreshed indeed. Just got back from the Gold Coast. The weather was magnificent.
Oh, lovely. Now you're back in beautiful Melbourne?
Yeah, yes, beautiful. Not sure about that. Windy and grey.
Windy and grey. Let's hope a bit of sun shines on your selections today. Do we have a best bet or 2 or 3 before we get your quaddie numbers, please, Glenn?
Yes, we do. The best is race 1, number 8, Mellies, and the value is race 8, number 10, Miss Play Lounge, at big odds in the last race.
All right, beautiful. Tell us more about this best bet in race 1.
Okay, Mellies was an impressive debut, second over 1,300 metres at Echuca. The senior rider here, Luke Curry, replaces the apprentice Brittany Button, who didn't do too much wrong, just the horse wanted to lay in a little bit and just might appreciate a stronger rider. Gets to the 1,400 on a big track here. I think it'll give him a start, but be charging home here for Lindsay Park and looks pretty well placed. I thought Sky Deal was probably the second pick there. Number 5, Resumes are a good stable. Gavin Bedgegood, the recent jump out was okay. We'll run out a strong 1,400. The 3 Pronounced debuts for Price and Kent. Shown a good stay as action at the jump outs, and the 1,400 will be right up his alley if he can settle a little bit closer. And the 10, Tiss Air, was good on debut at Moe with a bit of market support and might even take up the running from gate 1. My numbers in the first race are 8, 5, 3 and 10.
All right, now we might just go to race 8, number 10, Miss Play Lounge, currently $16 with Tab Touch. Why does Miss Play Lounge tickle your pickle?
Yeah, well, she was a lovely jump out recently at Cranbourne. She's had 2 jump outs at Cranbourne. The latest, she had Ben Mellum in the saddle. He's ridden both of them, but this one here was really good. She got out the back and hit the line strongly, coming out wide on the track, and she was sort of pulled up late because she was going to run into the markers there. They had the orange markers out in the middle of the track, so she was just pulled up late there, but I like the way she's going, and if we do get a firm track there late in the day, she's going to be right in the mix, and she's about $18, and I think she's a 1/4 chance.
All right, we might get your quaddie numbers, Glenn, because in the third leg, Glasgow Lass, obviously we'll have a lot of listeners on this side of the country pretty interested in how she's going to go first up. But the first leg of the quaddies, race number 5, what are we thinking here? A pretty short price favourite, Adivas at $1.50.
Yeah, look, I wasn't a huge rap for it. I think it's too short at the price, so I've actually got the 7 on top, Aria Electra. Probably one of the value plays on the card. She's a track specialist. Be looking to control the race here with Craig Newitt. It does come off 36 days between runs, so it's going to be a big watch on the market. We know the stable like a punt, so it's my top selection to beat the 4 Adiva, who's had a faultless prep aside from that narrow defeat in town last start. She's the obvious horse to beat, but prohibitive odds there. The 1 Red on Red races well this course. He's right back in his grade, and the 2 Righteous is first up for the right, first up stable price in Kent. They like to get their horses nice and fit, but just wanted odds there. The 7 on top. My numbers in that leg, race 5, 7, 4, 1 and 2.
Okay, the second leg, we are going to go without Tumbling and also Bazaball Rewarded. So numbers 4 and 8 are out, Glenn, and we're looking at a 6-4 favourite, that being the 7 Don't Rush Her for Froggy.
Yeah, look, I want to take this favourite on too. It's a shame that the original favourites come out. It looked the best on the card, Bazaball Reward. Just look out for where that horse goes next time. But I've got the 3 on top, Octrain. I think it's over the odds. It's a good draw here, barrier 1. The horse has a good fresh record, and I think it's well placed. So there's going to be a lot of speed here. And this horse will be charging up behind him here with Billy Egan, where he likes to be, just stalking the speed and be charging at them late. So I've got the 3 on top to beat the favourite, 7 Don't Rush Her, who's the local hope. Races well on a home course, will be handy from the draw. The 2 Midnight Devil. Look, he's the likely leader. If he could recapture his best early career form, he would take beating, but I think the stable's a little bit off at the moment, so I'm not keen to jump in at a price. The 6 Manhattan Thunder's a good, fresh performer. It was impressive winning here early in the career, and I think it's a blowout hope at the odds. You've got to have it in your quaddie. My numbers in the second leg were 2, 3, 6, 7 and 8.
All right, and 8 on the end there. All right, the third leg, race number 7, Glenn. You can scratch number 7. What do we make of the chances of Glasgow Lass?
Yeah, look, great chance. Did jump out really well for the new stable, Matt Laurie. I think the horse is really well placed. I don't think this is an overly strong race, except for the fact that there's a couple of fit horses coming into it, and one of those is Fridge Monster, who I've got on top. Draws the ace, goes up to 1,400, which suits. The horse can hit a little bit of a flat spot, so does need to get it up in distance. If it does hit a flat spot, the obvious danger is the 1 Glasgow Lass, as you said, really well placed in new stable. It's got a lot of class. The trials have been good. Bad barrier, that's the concern here. Rose Hammond's got a bit of a job from that wide gate. If they can get across, it's certainly winning hope. The 2 Cintalante can sprint well fresh. It's a winner here at its only attempt. It's coming off a Derby prep, and key rider booking with Ethan Brown taking the ride. Cliff's horses generally take a run, so you wouldn't want to be getting too short there on the 2. The 8 Hydra Assets is a progressive horse. He comes off back-to-back wins. This is much harder, a bit of a tricky draw. My numbers are 3, 1, 2 and 8.
Okay, and we round it out with race 8 over the 1,212 metres. The 12 game plan is a scratching. We know that you do like Miss Play Lounge. What are your other numbers in this quaddie?
Yeah, you can put in the 1 Rogan, who's coming off a Queensland Derby prep for Cliff Brown. That profile normally sees horses run well with their residual fitness, and we'll get a look at Cintalante earlier in the day. I think it's a winning hope at odds. The 8 Perfect Picture has the form and the fitness. She's getting very short now, too short to play for mine. She does lack a bit of a finish at the end of her races, but I can see she'll be in the mix because she brings that good city form. And the 4 Barbaric Lad is a capable horse for the Freedmans, but can mix its form. So my numbers in the last 1, 4, 8, 9 and 10. So we're going to go a little bit wider in the last.
All right, beautiful. That's the quaddie numbers there at sale, with the best bet being race 1, number 8, and then the best value, race 8, number 10. Thank you very much, Glenn. We'll catch up on Friday, and we'll look forward to a massive day at Caulfield.
Can't wait. Thanks very much.
There's Glenn Ingram. They're taking a look at sale. So repeating those quaddie numbers. First leg, 7, 4, 1, 2. The second leg, 3, 7, 2, 6 and 8. Third leg, 3, 1, 2 and 8. And then coming home with 10, 1, 8, 4 and 9.
Correct.
So that race number 7 there at sale with Glasgow Lass first up, having to carry 60 kilos first up from barrier number 11 there at sale at 1:40 local time.
Yes. So a bit of a task ahead of her, but she's a very good filly, or mare now, sorry, I should say. She's a very, very talented mare, so it'd be good to see her back at the races.
Absolutely, it will. All right, we know this man's very busy this morning, but Brad Davidson joins us to take a look at Randwick. Brad, a very good morning to you.
Morning, guys. How are we?
Very well, Brad. Great to have a chat to you. Kenzo, today, are we going to be on a good track?
Yeah, we'll be on a good track, rail out 3 metres. So, look, should be a pretty fair surface today, guys. Shouldn't be too many excuses. Good to see the nice weather continue over here. We've had a bit of a good run of it late, so it's a nice.
Beautiful. All right, kick us off with a couple of suggested bets on the program.
Yeah, I got 2 for you today. We'll start in race number 3, number 6, Exclusive Artist. This horse should have won clearly last time. Just had no luck at all. It was a poor ride. It was in the 3 wide line and just had to come to the outside. The rider, Zach Lloyd, decided to go back inside and just got held up badly and only got out about 50 from home, flashed home, but it was all too late. So, look, all 4 of her runs this prep have been really good. She was good against the tempo too back. Maps to get a good run today out to 1,800 metres. And, I'm sure Zach will be keen to sort of, put right from that bad ride last start too. So we'll start with race 3, number 6, Exclusive Artist.
Your next one, please.
The other one will be in race number 7. I just thought a bit of value here in a competitive race. We'll go with Bojangles for the Kim Warrior, race 7, number 5. I thought the first up run at 1,100 was really good, closed off strongly, some of the best late splits of the day. It goes 11 to 1,400, but did a similar thing last prep and ran second behind Les Bon Piers in the Saturday race. So I think it's well enough suited here today. Peace Officer's got a great chance with J-Mac on. Looks the big danger for mine, but I just wanted to be with Bojangles at the better odds. Race 7 at number 5, Bojangles.
All right, we'll get your quaddie numbers, please, Brad.
Yeah, quaddie numbers today for the Kenzo, 2, 5, 6 and 7 in the first leg, 2, 5, 6 and 7. Gone 3, 4, 6, 7 and 9. That's 3, 4, 6, 7 and 9 in the second leg. 2, 5 and 6 in the third leg. 2, 5 and 6. And 1, 2, 8 and 10. That's 1, 2, 8 and 10 in the last leg.
All right, beautiful. Thank you very much, Brad. We know you've got another appointment and you'll give some tips on another platform very, very shortly. So we might ask you about Kaying Rising on Friday.
I can talk about it now, guys. I've got a couple of minutes.
Go.
That's fine.
What did you think?
I thought he was okay. Yeah, I didn't think, it's the type of trial, guys, that if it was any other horse, I probably wouldn't look twice at it. I'd just kind of go, yep, that was all right. Yep.
Yeah.
And then sort of move on. So I think, for $1.50 quote, you would have liked to have seen a bit more. If you were on at $1.50, you'd be a little bit nervous, I think. There were a few questions more so than the trial for me were, had David Hayes mic'd up before the trial and he sort of made, made light of the fact that he was a bit bigger than they're used to. And Zach Purton said afterwards 2 things. 1, he had a really good blow. And 2, the ground was a bit softer than he's used to. I think they did have a little bit of rain overnight the night before. So I think it'll be a bit firmer than that for him on the weekend. But we know that those tracks over there seem to drain better. So maybe that's a little query. But I think the bigger query is David Hayes' comment about him being a bit bigger and Zach Purton saying afterwards, he'll need another pipe opener. He had a bit of a blow. Well, we're only 11 days out from the race, 10 days out. So, I just wonder whether they would have liked maybe a run here or maybe a couple of extra weeks up their sleeve because we're talking about a high-pressure 1,200-metre race. It's a grand final. He's an on-speed runner. I just wonder whether he's not going to be absolutely 100% sure you're right. And that's my little concern. That might give the others a little sneaky hope. Maybe the last 100 metres he's just that little bit vulnerable. But, look, I think on the ratings he's got 2 to 3 lengths on the field here. So he's got a bit of room to move. But it just makes that a bit more interesting for me because I certainly didn't think it was a wow trial by any means.
Okay, we let you go, Brad, if we were to give you an ID card out of Saturday's feature or the sprint race there on the weekend just gone, would you be taking the ID card of Briasa or Jimmy Star heading towards an Everest?
Oh, yeah, well, I was on Briasa. I thought it was a good thing, and I think I got it wrong. I thought Jimmy Star was the better run. If he drew a gate, the good thing about Jimmy Star is he seemed to learn how to jump a bit better now, and that's going to be really important for him if he draws a gate in the Everest. So I think there's not a lot between them, but I think right now, without seeing barriers and whatnot, I'd probably go Jimmy Star potentially. But if he draws wide, then I'd want to be back with Briasa because he's just that one that's going to get that lovely run behind the speed. But, I'm pretty confident they feel they can be closer with Jimmy Star if he draws a gate. And having a look at the way he jumped on the weekend, I tend to agree. And he was taking great ground off Briasa there late.
All right, this time next week we'll know barriers for the Everest, so we'll be able to get some more finalised thoughts. Looking forward to that, and it's turned into a really fascinating race. Thank you very much for your time, Brad. Good luck today.
Good on you guys. Chat soon. Cheers.
There's Brad Davidson. BradDavidson.com.au for all his selections over the week. Of course, fair bit of debate.
Yeah, it's a
I think it'll just absolutely
divided
blow
opinion.
up if it's a soft 6 or 7.
Oh, yeah. You're right. If he draws 11 on 11 or 12, we know he's an on-speed runner. But if he draws 11 or 12 on what will they do the barrier, Monday or Tuesday?
Tuesday. I think they do a Tuesday dinner and
all of that. Big gala event. So say he draws 11 or 12, and then there's a downpour late in the week, and he wakes up and it's a 7 or an 8.
Oh, scratch him.
What's going to happen then?
Do you think they'll go with the drone show again this year? With the barriers?
I don't know. Did they do that last year?
Was that last year? Yeah, recently.
They've done it down the harbour and all the rest of it, yeah. It's very, very fancy.
Yeah.
It's a bit different than what we do here, isn't it?
Oh, come on.
No, I'm not coming on anything. It's just saying it's very different.
So you think a drone show is more fancy than stuffed quokkas?
Yeah, I think
taxidermy quokkas.
Exactly right.
Oh, that's a bit harsh.
We've got Rottnest and they've got Sydney Harbour.
I'll take Rottnest.
I haven't been to Rottnest. One day I'll get to Rottnest.
I haven't been to Rottnest. How long have you lived in WA?
Oh, a long time. Long enough to have been. I haven't been. Don't hang me for that. I've just been elsewhere.
The Sports Daily presents Chris Nelson with his look at Queensland racing.
G'day, Chris.
Good morning, Taylor. Good morning, Digby. I was just listening to you talking about the weather, and I thought I'd have a quick look at the next 10 days in Sydney, and there doesn't look to be any rain right up until next Friday.
Terrific. Yes. There you go, Hong Kong. Have some of that. Oh,
yeah.
What do you make of the trial,
no
Chris?
No rain at this stage. I thought it was just a pass. I thought it was a pass mark. I didn't think it was anything spectacular. I'd say I was probably expecting to see more.
Yeah, okay.
Don't know what was under the bonnet there, but really, linebacker was just as good as Kaying Rising if you took them on face value. So, yeah, I think I was expecting a little bit more. I'm not knocking the horse because, as I said, you just don't know what was under the hood. But, on that soft track, I don't know that there was a great deal. So, as long as they don't put too much water on the track, that's going to certainly help him.
Yeah, the one thing that surprised me, and I dare say it surprised Zach just listening to him, was the fact that he said, he's had a bit of a blow. And I know he hasn't, raced for a while, trialled, and he's got here and he's just been at the quarantine facility out at Canterbury, but I'm not a horse trainer, but 9, 10, 11 days out from a massive grand final, you'd like to think he's pretty much screwed down.
Well, that's another thing that sort of surprised me in the trial was that Zach just sort of sat there and held him together, basically, never really, never put him under any pressure whatsoever. And I would have thought maybe a little bit more pressure there. I mean, once again, they know the horse a lot better than I do, but just looking, from outside in, just would have thought maybe put under a little bit more pressure, take control and scoot clear and win by a length or so would have been more the plan. But, look, I'm sure they've got a plan in place.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, hopefully we're going to chat to David Hayes in the next 15 to 20 minutes and we'll get his view and particularly importantly, see how the horse has emerged from yesterday's hit out there at Randwick over the 900 metres. Now, Doomben today, Chris, with all of your lovely weather up there, are we on a good track?
Yeah, certainly. Well, it's a soft 5 this morning. That's only because they've been pumping the water into it. So expect that to change to a good 4, probably before the first, because it's a lovely day once again, warm temperatures, and should be a good day's racing.
All right. Suggested bets, how many do we have?
We have 3 today, and a couple of them are each way. It's not a day where I can nail down a good thing. So we'll go with these at a bit of value. Race 5, number 9, Wisniewska. She's a filly trained by Chris Lees. She did some racing in Sydney. Now, her last couple have been here in Brisbane or Queensland. She ran 3rd at Doomben,
behind Impervious. So that was a good run, I thought, 2 starts back. She made good ground at the end of 1200. That was a Saturday grade race. Carried 52. Now, she went to the Gold Coast on that Pink Ribbon Cup Day. It was the major meeting a couple of weeks ago. She rose to 60. I always thought that was going to be a query. She was only beaten 3.7, but she was never really in the race. I don't think the weight did her any favours. She's back down here to 54. She's probably suited back to 1200, which she is, and she finds something easier. So at the price, in what is a good competitive race, that one, race 5, we'll have something each way, number 9, Wisniewska.
All right, you're next.
Race 7, horse number 10, Bollinger Miss. Now, she's a mare that's trained by Team Monks, who are going really well at the moment. One that I was keen to knock sort of late last prep when she got out over 1,600 metres in some feature races. I never really thought she ran a strong mile. Freshened up, she resumed over 1,200 metres at Eagle Farm recently, and she ran on quite well behind Grammar Lad. Now, the 1,350 today is ideal for her. She strips fitter. She drops a half a kilo from that. And I think with some of that form in some better races last prep, she can run well. So, again, each way, race 7, number 10, Bollinger Miss.
I'm going to go out on a limb then. The 3rd should be in the last, Chris.
You are spot on as usual.
Straight to the front of the classroom for you, TC.
No stopping you.
Yes.
Race 8, number 6. Sorry, race 8, number 6, Hatchet. He can put the sword through these at some stage in the straight. He's racing well. He's very consistent. He's best at the start of his campaigns. First up was in the field of 4. He ran second behind Street Chase, but there was nothing wrong with that performance. Second up, he's won 2 of 6 and placed on a further 2 occasions. Ben Thompson will ride. This is an interesting race. We don't get many open handicaps midweek. You see this sort of race on an off-season Saturday. So a good race, but Hatchet should run well. So race 8, number 6, Hatchet.
All right. Race 8, number 6 to go with race 5, number 9, and race 7, number 10. Now, your quaddie numbers, please.
First leg, 9, 8, 1 and 2. Second leg, 2, 5 and 1. Third leg, 10, 3, 8 and 1. And we'll come home with numbers 6, 3, 8 and 11.
Okay, 9, 8, 1, 2, 2, 5 and 1, 10, 3, 8 and 1, and 6, 3, 8 and 11 there at Doomben today. Chris, good punting. Thank you for your time. We'll chat again on Friday.
I'll look forward to it, guys. Enjoy your Wednesday.
You too.
You too. There's Chris Nelson taking a look there at Doomben. Really tests the pen, doesn't he, Chris, there with the quaddie?
Yeah, he's a rattler.
Yeah, quick quaddie.
Yep, where Bradley's gives you one,
Measured.
and then he gives you it again. Chris is like, hold on to your hats.
Really on the ball.
So, no, that's the thoughts of both Brad and Chris for the Kenzo and Doomben respectively, and Glenn Ingram was quite keen about the prospects in the opener, race 1, number 8, Mealy's there at Sale, and his value race 8, number 10, Miss Play Lounge, around $16 with Tab Touch TC.
Absolutely. Mealy's around the $3.60, so for a best bet on the program, $3.60, you take that every day of the week. Brad Davidson at Randwick, race 3, number 6, Exclusive Artist at $2.70, race 7, number 5, Bojangles at $4.40, and then Chris at Doomben,
Wisniewska, correct.
Yeah, well done. $8.50. Bollinger Miss at $4. Race 7, number 10. And then race 8, number 6, Hatchet at $3.20 with Tab Touch. Out to the roads.
On the Sports Daily, the Shayne train's coming into the station. Here's Shayne Williams with his winners for tonight's WA Greyhound Racing.
Hoping to catch up with David Hayes in the next 10 minutes or so, but more importantly, Shayne Williams joins us on the Sports Daily now. Shayne Train, how do you do?
Good morning, boys. How are we?
We're very
Sound
well.
better today.
You do sound considerably brighter today. How are you? Did you have a good night's sleep?
Yeah, slept like a baby dick, to be honest.
That's
you did.
Could have been an earthquake and I wouldn't have heard it or anything last night.
That doesn't surprise me. Now, you got 2 of the 3 there last night at Mantra?
Yeah, 2 of 3. The middle one was a bit disappointing, actually, but the best one, so that was good. So it was a really good win, actually. It carved off the 8 box and won in fast time, so it might be one to follow, Geordie, lad.
All right. How do we make money at Cannington?
Yeah, Cannington tonight looks a good card. I'm gonna start in a maiden race 2, number 6, Mad Howler. I thought he was very good last start. He was only lightly raced. He He was third from the wide draw last week, and prior to that, he won a qualifying trial in 22.10. But the most impressive part of that qualifying trial win was his 6.48 early split, which I think if he repeats that tonight, should find himself in front in a race of this nature. I think it'd be hard to beat. Race 2, number 6, Mad Howler, to kick us off.
Your second?
Oh, you're sitting down, Diggs, because this is your dog. Race 3, number 4, Cake and Tummy. She was brilliant last week, flying the lid, running 16.03. That was from box 6, moves in a little closer to the rail. Really is a genuine good beginning speed machine, this dog, who appears to be strengthening up a little bit at the back end of her races. So I thought she could go back-to-back.
Okay.
Race 3, number 4, a bit of Cake in Tummy for Diggers.
$2.40 with tab touch. It'll start shorter than that when the fans jump on board, Shayne, you would think.
Once Diggers has a better, it'll be odds on.
No doubt about that. Where's the third special?
Well, race 10, number 2, Call Me Mad, as we were on her last week as our best. She only just got rolled. We're right on the post. Again, she looks your leader here, and this race looks pretty winnable for her. I think she'll just ping to the top and keep rolling this week. So race 10, number 2, Tory Keeping.
Okay, so race 10, number 2, Tory Keeping as your final selection in...
No. Cake and Tummy's the best.
Cake and... Who's the best?
Well, probably should be Cake, but I don't want to have that much pressure on it, so I'll make it Tory again. That's what I say. Call me mad, but it was let us down last week. But, good draw. Looks a weaker race, and straight to the top is where we want to be. Boys.
All right, so race 2, number 6, Mad Howler, race 3, number 4, Cake in Tummy, and race 10, number 2, Tory Keeping, with an asterisk currently $1.75. So you're expecting Vic Cook to have a really big evening?
Yes, we are. She's doing a good job with her dogs at the moment.
All right, hopefully that continues. Thank you, Shayne.
Thank you, boys. Have a good day, and we'll chat tomorrow.
All right, good on you. No scratchings yet in your race?
Yeah, there's one scratching so far. I've got the one box, but if there's no other scratchings, he'll go into the one box. So, but if there is another scratching, it'll just be a random draw.
Okay.
See where he goes. So I'm hoping for no other scratching.
Yeah, naturally. All right.
Up in the ready.
All right. Fingers
He's
and
up against probably the best dog in Australia, Cumbria Jack. But anyway, you got to be in it to win it, boys.
That you do. His chances would be enhanced if he can jump from box 1. Thanks, Shayne. We'll chat tomorrow.
See you, boys.
Make Tab Radio your station of choice each weekday morning from 5:30 with the Sports Daily.
All right, welcome back to the Sports Daily. Taylor Cortland and Digby Beecham with you. Of course, Diggers, it's Wednesday, so we are taking on Scott Embry at Northam.
Race 4, number 2, Hoya Destroyer, Scott's best there at Northam, TC.
I think into about $2.15, if I'm not mistaken. Last time I looked, so in and around that. And paperwork has been lodged. Breaking news, Sam Flanders goes to St Kilda. The Gold Coast received pick number 7.
Correct.
Which you wouldn't think they'd be using.
No, that will be part of the deal, hopefully, to acquire Christian Petrarca.
You'd think so.
Yep.
All right, so that's the latest in AFL, but we'll talk WA racing now. It's great to be joined by Liam Peters, who found his way to Gloucester Park this morning. Liam, a very good morning to you.
Morning, TC. Morning, Diggers. How are you both?
Very well. Great to see you. How's life?
It's going well, yeah. Just got back from a quick trip to Singapore for the Grand Prix. It was awesome over there, but glad to be home.
Talking up Elton John?
Yeah, definitely. That was definitely the highlight, I'd say, other than McLaren winning the Constructors' Championship. But, yeah, it was awesome.
What has been awesome has been the run of Peter's Investments horses for a little while now, and I dare say you're hoping it flows on into the Ascot season, because this is where there is plenty of money to be made.
Yeah, exactly. As the old boy says, this is the time of year that pays the bills. So, yeah, he'll be happy with the hand that's going into the carnival. Obviously, it was great having the success over particularly the 3-year-old feature races through the winter. It's always awesome winning races like that. But, yeah, this is the time of year we all look forward to.
From the outside, it looks like, I don't know what happened sort of 12 months ago, but everything that's happening with yourselves and Michael Grantham and the partnership seems to be working, and all the horses are coming back. Like I used Stormageddon, for example. He's gone to another level this preparation, it looks like, from the outside. How's that marriage, I'll call it, going with yourselves and Michael Grantham?
Yeah, it's going really well. Everything just seems to flow perfectly. There's no real speed bumps or anything. Even if, say, there is a slight issue with a horse or something, it's not an issue between us. We just say, yep, figure it out. Like, we'll sort it out. It's all easy. No news is good news a lot of the time. So, yeah, everything is, we just trust Michael, his judgment, and the way he wants to train the horses, and let him do what he does best.
The decision to commit wholly to Michael, it was made a little while ago now, and from where we sit, again, from the outside, it looks like it's been a resounding success.
Yeah, it definitely has been. Obviously, there would be pressure for anyone in the situation training horses like that for Bob, but Michael seems to put most of the pressure on himself, is from himself, which I really admire. His passion, his drive, he's the most dedicated, hard-working person I've ever met, really. So, yeah, it hopefully will be a recipe for success over years to come.
There are a few teething issues there early on, and now, like you explained, the relationship at the moment, but does it take a little while to get into that level of comfort?
A little bit, yeah. I guess it's different training these horses as opposed to some of the more locally bred horses. There's the different bloodlines, they need different sorts of work. And it also definitely helps that Michael's mum, Kelly, has worked with a lot of the old star mares through when she was with Gran and with Adam a few years ago. But there was a sort of slow start, but in a way it was more just due to the property that Michael was at previously. He'd shifted into the new property and was working out the best way to work the horses to get the best out of them on all his new facilities. And then once he thought he'd had it all worked out, the virus went through the stable around sort of this time last year. So it was all back to the drawing board, but everything seems to be clicking now.
Cosmic Crusader, what is his ceiling?
I'll let you know after the Pinnacles.
It looks high. It looks really, really high. Would that be fair?
Yeah, it definitely does. He's one of the more exciting horses Grandpa's maybe ever had. I don't think I'd be wrong in saying that. He seems to be quite excited about him himself. He doesn't say much about him, which makes you think, there might really be something here, and he's definitely put the writing on the wall these last couple of starts, so it'll be very exciting to see what he does in the Pinnacles.
Has that come out of the blue a little bit? Like the most exciting horse that he might have had? I mean, 12 months ago, I think we were, excited what he could do, but I don't think we could have envisioned he'd get to this sort of level.
Yeah, it sort of has come out of nowhere a little bit. He was always going to be a horse that was going to keep improving, and the fact that he was able to, last year, run down Antique Miss at the peak of her powers in the Pinnacles really showed that he definitely had some ability, and at that point he was very sort of immature physically and mentally, and has definitely come on a lot in this past 12 months and hopefully should continue to grow out and fill out more. I don't think he'll really be done growing until maybe in about 12, 18 months' time.
He looks like he's gone from a boy to a man, though. He might not be the finished article at the moment, but he looks like physically he's developing before our eyes.
Yeah, definitely. And he's a lot more professional in his work behind the scenes as well. I recall early days he sort of didn't really want to go in a straight line, but that wasn't through wanting to do things wrong. It was just being a big kid in his head, but now he knows what his job is a bit more. It'll be very exciting.
You can probably tell that on race day too, because the two starts we've seen at Belmont, he's really left the gates. Now, the first time, Clint really had to urge him to find the top in a race and a day that you probably needed to be close to the top, but he sprung the gates his second start as well, and that's something that we probably didn't see from him last preparation. Yeah,
definitely not. He sort of seemed to just bowl out the gates. I think of horses like Arcadia Knight, they just bowl out the gates like that, and I thought he would end up being one like that would sort of need that luck to run on. But yeah, it was a big shock when he definitely jumped forward very quickly first up, but then the plan wasn't to do that again second up. But yeah, he just bounced out like Superman coming out of the telephone booth, really. It was it was really interesting to see that.
So what does his campaign look like now? He's had that freshened since that 1,650 metre victory.
He'll head back into work. He'll have a trial leading into the Asian Bow, although it is a bit frustrating that the trials have been moved to the back straight around that time, so we'll have to see how we go there, because I think we wanted to do a 1450 trial with him.
Right.
All right, Asian Bow, and then obviously he's probably on the borderline of the railway at the moment if everything stays pretty similar. Obviously, if he wins the Asian Bow, he's in. But would he go to a Peters before a railway if he's not successful in an Asian Bow?
Yeah, I'd assume that would be the plan as long as it comes out sound and all things are good with him.
Now, it looks like the stable could have a few bullets to fire at the railway. Can we touch on Love and War, who trialled on Monday, and I believe she'll have another 1,400-metre trial, or that's the plan?
Yeah, that would be the plan, yep. But she's one that's never really trialled the house down before. I think she's only won one of her trials, correct me if I'm wrong, since coming to WA, and that was sort of arguably against lesser grade than what she's trialled against the other day. And so she's definitely one that I think would give the railway a very good shake if she can get in. So she'll probably take a similar path to Cosmic Crusader, and I guess if bad luck beats one, they have the other chance in the RJ Peters.
I think we spoke to you on this program after she won those couple of races there at Pinjarra, and you were very positive about the way that she'd spelled and come back, and she's grown into herself. Has she developed again since those runs at Pinjarra?
Yeah, she just holds her condition really well, this horse. She's a beautiful, big, strong mare now, and she was just a big frame sort of last time in, and especially back when she was winning that Belmont Guineas, but she really looks like a serious horse now, and we didn't actually really expect her to grow and fill out to be this sort of style of horse. She really looks like a proper animal.
Now, what about Opportunistic? He created an impression in the winter. He won a 1,400-metre maiden. Second up goes to a Raconteur. Third goes to a Belmont Guineas. 3 for 3 goes to the paddock, comes back, trials. We get to see him on Saturday?
Yes, yeah, that'll be very interesting to see how he measures up against the older horses.
How are you thinking he'll measure up?
Well, hoping that he's very good against that sort of grade, but it'll definitely be very interesting to see how he does measure up, because obviously he could end up going into the bigger races, hopefully targeting the Group 1s, but if not, then there's always backup options of maybe extending his prep going out to the staying races, since he is definitely bred for them.
All right, so later on down the track, maybe 12 months, 24 months' time, you're sort of thinking he might be more of a Perth Cup horse as opposed to a Railway Stakes horse?
Yeah, that's my personal thought. I'm not really sure what the old boy thinks about that, though.
He's a bit stiff, Opportunistic, because he was the talk of the town, wasn't he, after he did what he did, and then Cosmic Crusader came along and said, hold my beer, basically, because he just went to a new level himself, Cosmic Crusader, and that's notwithstanding anything and taking away anything what Opportunistic did, but he's now in Cosmic Crusader's shadow. Whether he remains there or not, we'll find out in due course, but he's a very, very exciting horse in his own right.
Yeah, he definitely is, and he's very professional as well. He was one where it was quite hard to handle early doors back when he still had his gear. So yes. He was. He actually, I remember one day he got let out to the track at trials, and then we get to the spot where we normally watch them from, and then I look back down the raceway, the tunnel that goes out to the track there, and I see that there's someone off their horse and holding the horse, and I thought, oh, God, here we go. And turns out Adam Durant, kindly enough, went and grabbed the horse for us and led Clint back on, and he went out and trialled okay. He was sort of a bit stirred up by then, but that was the point where we knew we had to make that ultimate gear change, and he's just been so professional ever since.
What did you make of his most recent trial?
Yeah, it was quite good. I think I talked to you guys after that and said it was good to see how he went against older company for the first time, and sort of we didn't really want to knock him around too much. He's one that he knows when it's race day and knows when to put in properly.
Diamond Scene trialled on Monday. I think that was the third time he's trialled this time in, if I'm not mistaken. Lem, what did you make of that performance? Western Power, the stablemate, was able to edge him out?
Yeah, I was happy with that performance, really. They just walked, unfortunately. It didn't really help us in that way too much, because I actually was watching the replay and said to Michael, we call him Neil Diamond, the Diamond Scene. I said, Neil with some gate speed, and he said, no, they just walked, and then I watched it back again. I thought, okay, fair enough. So he sort of wandered around a little bit out in front, but he's sort of that dopey sort of horse. But he likes to chase, so I think it's nothing to worry about. It'll definitely take him into this preparation well.
Could it be a case of third time lucky for him aiming up at a Perth Cup?
I definitely hope so. I'll probably have to carry a bit more weight this time, but he's been there, done that, so he knows what his job is.
Have you watched the replay of last year's Perth Cup?
Not many times, no, although it does seem to come up on the Racing WA Thoroughbred broadcast every now and then in the ads, but I have to go get a glass of water at that time or something.
In saying that, he did a really good job last prep, didn't he? He got better and better as the campaign went on.
Yeah, definitely. He's one that just keeps continuing through his preps. Just the way he looks every time he gets to the races throughout a prep, he's bigger and stronger every time. And the way he looked on Perth Cup Day last year, he was just immaculate, just impeccable.
Well, even earlier in the campaign, I think first up, did he win really impressively? He showed a really good turn of foot, and then second up, he was probably a little bit lucky in a slowly run race, so he can pull out a sprint fresh. Is there a race that, early on in the campaign, he might be able to pick up?
Well, hopefully. We still haven't really decided his first up target. Last prep, when he did win first up and then second up, it might have looked like an off run, but he still had the fastest last 600 of that race, I believe. So he really is just quite consistent. But he could end up going to the Wait for Age lead-ups to the railway, or he could even start first up in the railway off his rating. He would probably get a run, I'd assume. So it'll be very interesting to see what sort of preparation he ends up having, because it's all not really locked in yet.
It is a race, the Perth Cup that's dear to Bob's heart. He has made mention of that on many occasions. How many horses could you be aiming at that race? I know we're sitting here and it's early October, but in an ideal world, how many could you get to that race?
Hoping 4, potentially 5. It'll just be sort of similar to what we're trying to do with the railway. It's a good problem to have, but trying to get them all in to actually get them all a run will be the biggest task, I think.
Yep.
So ideally for a Perth Cup Diamond scene?
Yep.
First Encounter?
Yep.
Stormageddon?
Yep.
Antique Miss?
No, we sold her at the chairman's sale last year, so I believe she's gone to stud this season. Yeah.
So the fourth one would be?
Forever Boy and potentially Arcadia Park.
Okay. Forever Boy, he showed good progression last time.
Yeah, definitely. He went toe-to-toe with First Encounter twice, I believe, last prep, and he's obviously a little bit behind age-wise, so he's still got that time to fill out a bit more. And, he's just that big striding horse, so I think a race like the Perth Cup, hopefully his ability measures up to that, but it would suit him quite well.
And that recent trial was sound?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he didn't get asked for too much, but he put his mind on the task and finished off well down the outside.
Who's about a Perth Cup chance in your thoughts right here, right now? Him, Forever Boy, or First Encounter?
I think it'd be tough to split them, but I'd lean towards First Encounter personally.
Okay. What do you make of his most recent trial?
He's just beautiful to watch striding over the line, but obviously it wasn't against the best of company in that 1450 trial, but he did sort of what was expected that day. But he's one who I think probably still even needs another 12, 18 months to fill out himself as well, even though he's sort of one of our older horses nowadays, but he looks like one that's always going to sort of finish furnishing once he's maybe 8 years old or something.
He's like one of those European horses.
Like you, Diggers.
Oh, yeah, I haven't yet to furnish. Your 3-year-old crop, how would you describe it?
There was a sort of shaky start at the beginning, but things seem to be sort of tracking along a little bit better now. Exquisite Taste was a nice winner. Old boy reckons he can't win from the front. Well, that was good to see that. But, he'll line up again on Saturday and hopefully should be a good chance as well. But, a couple of the fillies that are coming back in should definitely be better this time in than last time.
Oh, which 3-year-old are you most excited about before we ask you about a couple that trialled Monday?
It's a tough one. I'd say off the trials on Monday, I'm probably most excited to see Streamlined. Yeah.
Oh, tell us about that galloper.
He's a very big Morris Gelding out of Silverstream, who was one of Clint's favourite mares, so I'm sure he'll get along with him quite well, hopefully. But he's definitely needed a fair bit of time, and it's taken a while for the penny to start dropping in his head, especially. He was quite bad in the stalls and wanted to do things wrong, gets a bit strong, but now he seems quite professional and ran quite good time in his trial the other day.
So where does a horse like he and some of these other ones who trialled on Monday and haven't been to the races, where do you kick them off and try to separate them so they can exercise their best opportunity to get some prize money and qualify for these features?
Well, I'd say it's more taking a similar path to what we did with Olympic Park as a 3-year-old, although he won his maiden and then had a little bit of a freshen and went in to win the graduation, and then from there went on to the black type races. I'd hope to be able to do something like that with a couple of these ones, maybe without the freshen between, obviously, since we're a bit short on time at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. So where does Streamline measure up, sort of like a westbound, who also won a trial there on Monday? Are they on a similar sort of level talent-wise?
Potentially. I'd say Streamline has more scope to grow and keep filling out and improving. Westbound isn't the biggest horse. I think you can sort of start to tell the mare was getting a bit old when he came out. But, yeah, he's still a beautiful type as well and definitely knows his job. But, yeah, they're both a couple that do a little bit wrong, so the penny hasn't really dropped with them yet, so time will tell.
Has Holland Enough got some upside?
Yeah, he definitely does. He showed professionalism early. He's quite a nice little Justified. Not a sort of big, strong horse or anything, but he's got a massive stride even for his size. So he's one who I think has his fair share of ability as well.
Where do we see him next?
I actually don't know personally.
Oh, you're not the racing manager then? Also, one I wanted to touch on too, Friday night at Moonee Valley, that must give just the whole crew just so much pride that So Brave's able to get another win on the board.
Yeah, well, it was very lucky that racing.com was the one channel we could watch in Singapore, and it happened to be right in the break between practice 1 and practice 2 of the Formula 1, so it was nice to sit there with my mum and my sister, who obviously are the two that probably love him more than anyone. And
bring a tear to your mum's eye?
Yep, straight away. Yeah. Yep, and my sister's probably the one that cares for him the most out of the three of us, and she said, "Oh, geez, Mum's crying again." Yeah. And I thought I had to sort of stay quiet because I was struggling myself not to shed a tear again.
It's an amazing story. I know people have heard it, but it is an amazing story from where that horse was to doing what he continues to do on race day.
Yeah, definitely is. He's very, very tough, very resilient, that horse. He's not the smartest, but I think that might sort of help him in a way. He knows what his job is now, and as Lee, John's foreman, said after the race, he really has furnished and matured a lot mentally, but it's just amazing that he's gotten to the races, and you definitely wouldn't have thought last start hurdle sort of midfield finisher would end up winning first up over a mile at the Valley on a Friday night.
It's staggering.
Horse racing.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly right. All right, Liam, we might hold you for 10 minutes. We'll get out to the roads. We'll get an update from the traffic, and we'll come back. We've still got a couple to touch on. Correct choice. Western Power, noteworthy.
Yep, few interesting types going forward. Don't know what their ceilings are yet, but yeah, so we'll see how we go.
All right, we'll take a quick break here on the Sports Daily. We'll come back with Liam Peters on the other side.
Make Tab Radio your station of choice each weekday morning from 5:30 with the Sports Daily.
Well, welcome back to the Sports Daily. Liam Peters still in studio with Taylor Court, myself and Digby Beecham. Because you wanted to ask Liam a couple of questions?
Yeah, I was just hoping to get Liam's insight in regards to the business model of Peters Investments. We know that Bob and Sandra have had a heap of horses over there on the East Coast, mares, foals, weaners that find their way back. Does that still remain, and what does it look like now as opposed to maybe 5 years ago, and projecting forward another 5, what could it look like?
Yeah, well, compared to 5 years ago, I'd say the situation at the moment is pretty similar to 5 years ago. However, recently, sort of with my forcing my way into it, I'll say, we've been buying a lot more than breeding. Still definitely breeding sort of similar numbers, but just buying new bloodlines and lots of nice fillies that can hopefully go and be those brood mares going forward.
So why the tweak, why the alteration to the model?
Well, everything sort of seemed to be going quite well. Obviously, we had a lot of success, a lot of Group 1s and a lot of big races, but then sort of those families and bloodlines and the good producing mares started to get a little bit old, so it's more just out with the old, in with the new, and hopefully we can find some bloodlines that do some similar things over the next 5 years.
So that's your favourite part of the industry, I'll ask? Going through the catalogues, trying to buy new bloodlines, the breeding side of things, that's where you see yourself sort of heading? Yeah,
definitely. It's awesome going over to the sales. It's just everyone is so inclusive and want to teach you everything, so you learn different little things from all sorts of people. Obviously, Gay and Adrian are so good with their 2-year-olds, so it's been amazing learning about finding an early runner with them. The Coolmore team know how to find a stallion prospect, so going around with them's been amazing as well, just the slight little things that you wouldn't really think to look for. But I'm a bit of a pedigree nerd. It's awesome going through the catalogues and keeping my notes and seeing where the horses end up being bought, even if we don't buy them, and following their careers going forward as well.
What's been one piece of advice that Granddad's given you that remains with you to this day?
They need to have a lot of leg.
Need to have a lot of leg.
That's what he says. Yep. There's been a couple that we've sort of been umming and ahhing about whether they had enough leg. One ended up being Olympic Park. So, yeah, there are winning formulas, but I think at the end of the day, you just really have to find a nice athlete.
Yeah. So from someone that's a little bit less educated in that space, for me, would say that they're sort of more so your Perth Cup types, your WA Guineas types, as opposed to maybe your Winterbottom or Quokka horses?
Yeah, exactly. And that's always been the model that Bob's really targeted, going for those Guineas types that can hopefully end up stretching out and have that sort of staying blood behind them to end up in a Perth Cup as time goes on.
So going forward, the percentage of horses that the family breeds as opposed to purchases, what would that be?
Well, it's very different, even just this year compared to last year, to be honest. I'd say last year it was probably about 80-85% homebred, and then this year it was probably only about 60%. We ended up buying quite a few at the sales actually this year, so it'll be very interesting once this crop turns 3.
Okay, so those ones that you do buy, do you leave them over there and do they get broken in over there, or do they come here as weaners, yearlings?
They all come straight back after the sales.
Okay.
Yep, Ramsey's is always watching the sales and flicks a message through as soon as they hear that we've bought one and said, is that coming back? Yep, straight away. There's been one or two that we've left over there to do their breaking in and education, but mostly they'll come back.
Is there one that you've bought this year that you're really excited about?
There's one who we've given her race name Amaryllis Star. It might be a bit difficult to look up, but she's a So You Think filly from the Caracas sales out of a mare called Coonamoo. A beautiful, big, striding filly, covers so much ground, and her half-sister, I believe, by Morris, won on debut as a 2-year-old in one of the first 2-year-old races in Queensland last season. So, yeah, hopefully she's got that sort of scope and staying blood, but seems like the family can throw some precocity as well.
Okay, now TC was going to ask you, Liam, about a couple of other horses that we hadn't touched on, and one of those being Correct Choice. This is a horse who went to a new level last time, and looks like Correct Choice could hopefully springboard further off that. Would that be right?
Yeah, fingers crossed. He's a horse who, sort of last prep, we really figured him out a bit more, his racing pattern, what he likes in running. There were a couple of times where he was sort of first 4 or first half of the field in running and didn't really finish off. So he really, I think, needs that get back run on sort of style of race. And he's just gone from strength to strength. And obviously you pay good money for the Sedge and Ho-bred horses, so you'd hope that they can keep sort of putting in those nice performances. But yeah, his trial the other day was really good against much better company, so it'll be very interesting to see what he can do this prep.
All right, so he might go to another level. Is Western Power on sort of the same level as Correct Choice, would you say?
Yeah, I'd say they're probably similar types. Correct Choice maybe is more of a stayer than Western Power will be, but Michael's always been adamant that Western Power has got a good race in him, so yeah, so that's since day one as well, even when he had his bad manners and everything. So he's definitely improved a lot. And yeah, hopefully that trial the other day bodes well going forward for him.
Can I just ask you about Federalist's performance on the weekend? I think everyone saw that he got to the line nicely. That must be very exciting. And I dare say the report since that performance on the weekend has been encouraging.
I haven't actually received any reports since the weekend. Okay. The old boy doesn't like to share those reports with us sometimes.
He knows you're coming on radio and chat about them.
Yeah, well, exactly, maybe. Or he lets Team Hawks do all the talking there. They know him best anyway, and we're only part owners, really. Just have the honour of letting him run in our silks at the same time alongside Arrowfield in partnership. Yeah,
it must be, fill you with a lot of pride and the family as well to see, a great Arcadia Queen. Obviously, we know how good she was, and then to see the progeny race as well. That must be really exciting.
Yeah, definitely. Well, there was a big push from everyone in the family against Grandpa not to sell that mare. He says you have to sell the good ones. It's a business at the end of the day. So, yeah, it was quite a sad day that. But then when I heard that we'd bought in a little bit of her first colt, it was sort of. How do you say, just I can't even think of the word. It was just a great sort of ending to the story in a way, yeah.
She was a weapon. I know it's a long time ago now, and we've spoken about it ad nauseum over a long period of time, but what a horse she was.
Yeah, she was an absolute marvel. Horses that are that big and that strong have no right being that athletic. That's how the old boy always used to say it. It was just amazing to watch her run. And I think it was also her mental side of things that helped her mostly as well. She was very hard to handle at times. She was quite rude. She was always the boss of everyone. But I think at the same time, Willie used to say that she took him through the gaps. He didn't have to pilot her through the gaps as much. So it was just her will to win and the fact that her body could keep up.
You were obviously around horses from a very young age. Is there a horse that you can remember, the first horse that you watched and thought, wow, and that got you like really hooked on racing?
I think Perfect Reflection winning that Ted Van Hemst running down Fathoms of Gold, that was just amazing. I obviously didn't know too much about racing and how, if you go too hard in front, you're going to end up stopping. I just still thought he was home and chatted to the old boy at the time, and I said, I don't think we're getting this. And then he said, no, watch, he's stopping. I said, oh, okay, then right, interesting. But the real one that really hooked me, I think, was Regal Power. I think it was when he won the Derby from near on nowhere. No, sorry, it was the Railway, when he won the Railway. I think he was a 4-year-old from nowhere. We were watching every other horse we had in the race, and then he just flew down the outside. And it's the only time I've actually ever seen Grandpa properly stand up and yell for a horse crossing the line.
Is that right? Wow.
Yeah, that really, I stopped watching the race and just stared up at him in awe and thought, okay, I get it now.
You just rattled off some horses there, and we could go on and on and on about the quality of horse flesh that Bob has either purchased but invariably bred over a long period of time. And again, it hasn't been an overnight success. This has required a lot of work, a lot of patience, a lot of money, and he's reaped the rewards. He's arguably one of the best breeders in the world, not just here in WA, or Australia, the world.
Yeah, definitely. He's his work ethic and the way he just is constantly thinking in different ways to anyone would think is just second to none. It's he's always been my idol, and I've always looked up to him my whole life and want to be like him, I guess. So he's just one of the best businessmen that you'll ever see, and has applied it perfectly to the racing industry with his love of horses as well.
Yeah, really well said. Has he given you a date where you get the keys to the full?
I don't think there's a plan in place for that yet. We'll see what happens. Just have to hope.
But you've become far more involved in the business over the last 3 to 4, 5 years. Would that be fair?
Yeah, despite him saying there's two industries you don't want to go in, cars and horses. I said, have you looked in a mirror?
And here you are at the front of it now. Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, definitely. It's I wouldn't trade it for the world. I don't think I'd ever see myself working in an industry other than racing at this point.
All right, long way to go. All right, we've got rapid fire. I need one horse. I'm going to ask you about 4 races. So I need your best chance in these 4 races here, right now. All right, best chance to win a railway?
Cosmic Crusader.
Northerly?
If he gets there, Opportunistic.
WA Guineas?
That'll be quite a difficult one. I think probably if Whole Enough can do things right, he could have the scope to win that.
All right, and probably, not sure if it's the hardest one of all, but you're probably going to have to most runners, a Perth Cup.
That's a very difficult one. I'll lean towards Diamond Scene, despite the fact that he's going to have to carry a little bit more weight, just because he's been there and done that, has the experience at that level.
I know you hate the term diggers, but if there is a horse that deserves a Perth Cup win, it's probably Diamond Scene.
Yeah, you're right. I don't like the term, but I understand exactly where you're coming from. He was great last year. I love the way that he went through his grades at the back end of his campaign last year. It's a very deliberate approach, it seems, from the outside to have him ready to rock and roll at this time of the year. And as a now 6-year-old, I don't think anyone would begrudge Diamond Scene winning a Perth Cup. Absolutely not.
All right. Just before we let you go, am I allowed to ask the favourite horse that you've got at the moment?
It's difficult at the moment, actually.
Don't listen to the radio.
No, I've had a few favourites over time, but I think my favourite horse at the moment, even though he hasn't been seen in a fair while, is Olympic Park.
Where's he at?
Yeah. He's still in out of the hill paddocks over the road at the moment, but he's my Mrs. Hannah and I did a lot of work with him doing his rehab, riding him around the arena every day, hand walking him just to build up muscle again and everything in that back end. But he's doing well out in the paddock and probably only needs a couple more months out there, I think.
So that was the pelvis, was it not? Was it
pelvis?
Broken pelvis.
Yep.
Was that was in the lead up to a derby?
Correct, it was, first up, and I thought he was a great chance the way he travelled up. It was about the 600 and then got to the top of the straight and Clint pushed the button and you could just see something went wrong straight away. But, all credit to Clint that day. He essentially saved the horse's life by getting off him at the tunnel as well, so he could just go straight over and get to the vets.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so touchwood, we get to see him back at the races, hopefully in maybe 12 months' time.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Thank you very much for making the effort to come in, Liam. Greatly appreciated. Well articulated. I think we got plenty of information there and hopefully help the listeners out going forward to the Pinnacles.
No worries, guys. Thanks very much for having me.
Liam. Great, mate.
There's Liam Peters. We'll take a quick break on the Sports Daily and we'll come back shortly.
This midweek Metropolitan preview on the Sports Daily is presented by Tab Judge.
All right, taking a look at the preview from Northam. Nigby Beecham, you're still here. Good day.
Hello.
Good to see you still.
Likewise.
Scott, nice to see you. Look a little bit rugged after Kalgoorlie.
Taylor, how are you?
Yeah, going well. Kalgoorlie got you?
Yeah, a bit croaky.
Yeah, well, fair enough. It's not the first one, not the last one, Darren.
He looks far more immaculate today than he did at lunch last Friday. He had that holidaying, dishevelled, I don't really care sort of a look about him.
I got a 10-day beard going. Be a while since I've had one of them.
Was doing a bit.
Wasn't the plan. I just didn't take my electric shaver and can't use a razor.
Had a bit of the George Clooney's about him, I noticed, at the lunch. Yeah,
right.
He was up and about.
10-day beard and Scott Embry doesn't sort of go hand in hand,
drawing a lot of attraction.
Yeah.
He was.
Thought you were more
That's how
like
he rolls.
a 10-year beard.
Anyway, smooth as a baby's behind today, though, aren't you, Chad? You've had a run in with a razor.
Found it. Found the charger.
Nice to see you too. See, Degs, morning.
Good morning. Good morning to everyone.
Or would you like to say good morning to Joey Azzopardi?
Let's say very good morning to Joey because we were going to get Joey on last Friday, but he was unavailable. Joe, good morning. Take two.
Good morning, guys.
How are you?
Yeah, good.
How was Kalgoorlie, first of all?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bit of fun. Stayed up from Thursday to Sunday, and we all know what Cal gets like during round week. So, it was good fun.
Joey, you just missed out on that little percentage in the Golden Saddle.
Oh,
one spot away, hey?
It was funny. I was counting what was in front of me. I thought, okay, I'm in 10th, and I got about 50 to go, and Paddy's come from about 5 off me. I hear him roaring, get up. He's nabbed me a bloody nose on the line for 10th.
Unconfirmed reports that you did say you've never heard someone roar a horse home like that one to run 10th.
No, I was concerned about going out of contention with the whip because I was we're a long way off them and we're going pretty hard here. So, it was funny, but
how was the day, Joe?
You've got to see the light side of those things, Joe.
The day itself, though, we had a good chat to SJ. We've spoken to Billy Beeman, a few people on the show. The day itself and the round. How did you come away from it, given you've been part of a few?
Yeah, well, Cal Cup Day was great. They got a really good turnout, and the track was in great order too. They put plenty of water on it, and there was plenty of length in the grass, so it was really good to see the track like that. Hannon's Day was a little bit quiet compared to previous years, but I think Cup Day made up for it.
All right. Now, we are focusing on Northam today. Before we get back to Ascot on the weekend, we might just quickly ask you about a ride or two that you are going to have on the weekend. But before that, we'll look at Northam. You ride Tabba Boom again for Donna in race 2, this 1,300 metre maiden. It's fair to say she's racing well. Is today the day where she can break through?
Yeah, she's getting pretty close to a win. Just the barrier's a bit of concern for mine. If she can get over, she'll go forward. If she can get over without doing too much work, I think she'll run a big race. But she is limited, so if I have to use her up too much early, it will make things tricky. But yeah, hope for a bit of luck early.
Didn't look like there was that much pace under you, Joe.
I don't think so. On paper, it does look like I'll get over okay. So if it works out that way, we should be right. I think she'll be in the first one or two. I thought there was just that one of Philomere to beat. Besides that, looks pretty winnable race.
Joey, what about Marcho Akiro for Pip Elliott there, lining up in the next, the third over 1600? This is a 5-year-old. He's had 14 runs. He's been placed at 3, and they've all been from his last 3 starts, suggesting here that he is certainly knocking on the door. Can he win what is not an overly strong mile maiden?
Yeah, well, I agree with you there. It's definitely a weak race, so and he's on the improve. So, John a little bit sticky too, but he'll look for a spot in the first 4 or 5, and if we can get in like we did last start, he keeps whacking away. I think a good tempo will suit him, and hopefully, he doesn't blow me away, but he's on the improve. So if he can improve again, I think he can finish in the money.
Okay.
Hasn't been a day for barriers for you, Joe. She's some crack in race number 4, also drawn off the track, but last start she had no luck. Prior to that, she was actually going okay.
Yeah, run part of that was good, and I think from that draw today, I'll just drag her back and see if she can hit the line. So I was speaking to Dexter yesterday actually, and he said that they rode her quiet in the trial one day and she hit the line really well. So we're going to try something different today.
All right, and you round out the day's commitments up there in Northam with Golden Kathleen for Donna. Now, Grant and Alana have the favourite here, but it must be said this mare looks like she's ticking over nicely and hits a very winnable assignment. Yeah,
definitely. She's actually been a little bit frustrating because, before the last start, she'd probably been going only fair. So last start she ran second. She had every chance that day, and this doesn't look any easier. So hopefully she can improve again and win a race for us.
All right, who's the best of the 4?
Tabba Boom would be my best.
Okay, Tabba Boom in race 2. And what does Saturday look like, Joe?
Yeah, it looks good. We've got 5 or 6 rides, a few nice rides for Luke. Just excited to get back to Ascot, really.
Yeah.
We all know the vibes are much better at Ascot. And I had a chance to look at the track, and the track looks great. So, it's an exciting time of year going back to Ascot.
All right. Best of luck, not only today, but also on the return to headquarters, Joe. Great to have a chat.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
There's Joey Azzopardi taking a look at his rides today at Northam. I think he sums up the thoughts of most people in WA racing getting back to Ascot.
He does. We were lucky enough to be down there yesterday, Scotty and I, and a group of other of our colleagues, and had a good look at the place, and they've done some renovations. The new ladies' jockeys room there has certainly taken it to a new level. Absolutely outstanding what Perth Racing have done there. They've done some other works around the course, still being tidied up, but they'll get to it and it'll be pristine for the start of the return to Ascot on Saturday. But you can see the track. We were up there and on top of the Ollie's bar and looking down onto the course, and it just looked like absolute pristine bowling green. So yeah, they've had a wonderful winter with the track and the early prep through the spring, so we can be very confident going back there that this track's going to be absolutely outstanding.
Absolutely. James Oldring, the CEO of Perth Racing, yesterday morning on the Sports Daily said just as much. Gave a big shout out to Matt Cork and the team there at Perth Racing. So
Matty does a great job.
If you did miss that, you can head back on the podcast and hear all the things Perth Racing have done in preparation for the return back to Ascot on Saturday. All right, looking at Northam race number 1, Tab Touch placed the same race multi-maiden over the 1,000 metres. Scratch number 1, Snippergent. And at $2.30, Moonwalk is the favourite, opened at $2.60. Dance With Me, $4.40 into $3.90. Exceed the Boom, $6.50, has been supported in from $8.50. $6.50 also Bondi Lifesaver, $9.50 90 Mile Straight, $15 and up the remainder. I'm not sure your voice is going to reach race number 7, Scott, but you can kick off race number 1.
I think here that Moonwalk's found a winnable race, TC, though. That 2-year-old form, it speaks for itself, splitting 2 darn stormy and playing it sweet on the first occasion, and then no luck at Pinjarra that day when she was a beaten favourite. The trial, I thought she did enough. It was a pretty slowly run trial. She found herself in front. Willie Pike was able to really control and dictate, and then she turned it into a little sit and sprint to suit herself. The filly that she beat in that trial, Intoxicating, is no star, has trialled at Belmont since, got beaten 6.5, so it's not like she held off a talented or overly talented type, but I think she can do enough here just to land right place, right time, And if she shows that bit of gate speed that she did at the trials, she could put herself in the firing line, which I think is pretty important.
I tend to agree with you there in regards to Moonwalk, but overall I thought, on paper at least, it looked a difficult maiden. Whilst I'll be probably tipping Moonwalk, it's not with any great deal of assurity.
All right, Dickers, you like the trial of one at close to double figure?
Yeah, I thought the trial of 90 miles straight was excellent.
Yep.
I thought it was excellent trial. I really did. And if I had more courage, I would have put this filly on top. I liked the trial. She was 3 deep. She was riding the speed, and she was only beaten a length behind Call Me Invincible into 4th. She's had a couple there for Trevor this time in. Sean O'Donnell rides today, and it wouldn't be a shock if she caused an upset, but I am with the 8 here.
Diggs, you're right, because when it looked as though she might have been under pressure at the 150, found a bit more and kept coming at the line, I thought if the trial had been further, she may have even won the trial. So,
and she's now 950. I think there has been some money for her. I'd be really disappointed and surprised if she didn't run top 3 today.
Thought that she might have been a high exotics play in the race as well too. I'm going to go though with Moonwalk. I thought the trial was enough. It's got the form there on the board. Now whether, and we'll see this in, I think, numerous circumstances through the program today. Horses that might have gone very well at their most recent runs, the horses behind them subsequently, either through races or trials, haven't. And there's a couple of those instances where we think, can I rely on that form? Is that the form that I really want to use going into these races? But anyway, it'll all be very subjective. I'm with 8. Dance With Me is an interesting one, although the pads going on probably leads me to a little bit of a concern with this mare who did win a trial. She was able to lead controlled in a small little field of 3. It was barely an exercise gallop, did what she had to do, but she has been placed to Monique when she led at her only start. That was at Ascot back early in May. Now, she was scratched at Bunbury, I think, late August, or with a little setback, might have been the case. Pads are on here, but she's got some ability, and 11 is the other one that I'm interested in Playa del Sol, who comes here on debut, Star Spangled Banner filly, with a very much informed Lucy Fiore in the saddle. I thought that the way that she trialled, they've been interesting. They've been interesting because the one back there in September where she chased the leader, she got very tired. That was on a soft 6 track, so we gave her a forgive there. Better trial, dropped out to last and finished off, I thought, really strongly. She's got form through Elite Bow, Pygmalion, back through a trial in August. So I'm going to suggest here at, double figures, Playa del Sol. With El Fiore aboard, she can play a part. And your selection there, Diggs, very much so, 90 miles straight. Out of a stakes-winning mare, Kaiguna. I like the trial a bit like yourself there, but she's in the mix. 8, 4, 11 and 10.
Scotty?
8, 7, 4 and 11. I wanted to have Exceed the Boom in there as well, but after I thought he fought on well from being wide throughout first up, but he looks like he's wide throughout again. 8, 7, 4 and 11.
8, 10, 4, 2 for me. I'm with the favourite here, Moonwalk, from 10, 90 miles straight, 4, Dance With Me, and 2, Exceed the Boom. All things considered, I thought the first up run was quite sound. 8, 10, 4, 2.
That's for Diggers. Scott with 8, 7, 4 and 11 in the first, and Darren with 8, 4, 11 and 10. So that trialer that you gentlemen have spoken about did get out to $17, 90 miles straight. Now into 10. The place is at $2.50 with Tap Touch, so keep an eye. Today, race 1. Second event, all emergencies come out. Numbers 12, 13, 14 and 15. Race number 2 at Northam. Tab Touch Scan, My Bet Maiden, 1,300 metres, $2.40. Philomea did touch as much as $2.50, so been pretty solid throughout betting. Diamond Warrior, $7. Peaceful Ruler at $7.50. $8.50 about Malagasy. Darren, something?
Malagarasi.
Yep, that's what I said.
The river in Tanzania, TC. Mm-hmm. Be better.
Yeah, sorry. I was pretty young when I went there. Spellborn at $8.50 and Tabba Tabba Boom. A wide draw, $9.50, but Joey gave it a push, Diggers.
Yeah, he did, and you can understand why, because she has this time in run second, third and second behind a couple of handy ones. I think Fine Star's better than average, and certainly Charmer, who Mitchell Pateman threw out, was very, very impressive. But Philomea, to be fair, we spoke to Jace Buckley before the first up run, Scott. He indicated that this filly would perhaps be ridden a little bit quiet. She would improve on what she did. She was fired to find a spot outside the lead, and she fought on okay behind her. a handy one in long service leaf.
Well, I think for Holly, she sort of found herself jumping too well for her own good.
Yep.
First up, no trial, and then the choice is grab hold and restrain hard over 1,000 or do what she did and ride her forward to the breeze. But I think more importantly was Jace's point that she was underdone for that event, and the market was certainly aware of that. She was very easy at betting. I think when we interviewed Jace in the morning, she was 330, 340.
Probably a little bit fresh too, the fact that she hadn't trialled going into it, and hence why she got out of the gates a bit bullish, and she was closer there than what they would have maybe liked on paper going into it tactically.
She got out to $7, so she doubled in price between the morning and race day. So hopefully here today there is improvement in her. Goes from 1,000 straight out in distance to the 13. I thought she was probably the one to beat, but short enough at the same time.
Yeah, she's my pick in the race. She deserves to win. I'm going to be selecting Philomea here in the race because she's got that, lovely bank of form from good quality racing back in the autumn through the Jim Crack. The size, her effort there was exceptional. So I'm going to lead there with her. 1,300, if anything, could be a question. The question I wanted to ask you, Scott Diggs, too, you start looking at form. There's a few in the race there that, they caught the eye last start. Olaf the Snowman charging right up near the rail. You had Watto's Warrior finishing pretty much close to it. Is that form any good, Toronado Rocket?
Well, he flopped during the week, but don't forget that day at Belmont Park, the inside two lanes was like a freeway.
Yep.
Anything that pulled wide couldn't go a yard.
Cutaway
inside section.
Dynamite.
So there were a few there that shot up along the inside, and it was a theme of the day that were any old price a place. They may have been right place, right time. I probably take the view, especially considering the prices that they went around, that I need to see them do it again.
I'm questioning the form. That's the point that I'm making here, and I'm coming right back here to, I think, what is absolutely gilt-edged, and that is Philomea. She can only but improve here with that run under her belt. Diamond Warrior will probably come out of barrier 5 now with those scratchings there. Trialled up without any blinkers on recently, didn't read much into it there. Back in May was placed in confidence. Now Hol Enough ran third in that race and has since subsequently come back from a break, gone to Bunbury and won a maiden. So that might be okay. Drawn a reasonably low draw. There is money for Olaf the Snowman. It was $15 into 10 initially from the Gangemi stable, who are rolling into a little bit of form right at the moment. Sits around the $11 mark currently. And if it can come on out of that run, and that's the question mark, it'll be there. Competitive, I'm sure. Peaceful Ruler is first up, debuting here today, and it's trialled well enough there. There's a trial behind Heza Phoenix and Win Las Vegas. So, you've got to suggest that might be the case. I don't know what you do with the recent form of By the Wood. Went there to Northam on the weekend. Is that the one out of Fabergino?
Correct.
Wood and Bassett. Got back, raced a bit greenly, maybe a forgive run there. Look, there's a lot of questions about some of these other horses beyond Philomea, and I didn't quite know what to do with Tabba Tabba Boom. I thought the 1,200 might string her out. She seems to get there and then just peak a bit on her run. So,
well, that's concerning if this is a 13.
13, yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's the problem. My point is 1,300 to the question mark, because those last two have been at 1,200.
I'm actually going to go her way, Tabba Tabba Boom.
Yeah.
I just sold myself on the fact that apart from Philomea, who they were hoping to ride conservatively first up, so second up they might take that approach and ride her with cover, all of a sudden I didn't think there was any speed in this race. So I'm actually going to go with Tabba Tabba Boom to cross them from the outside and get a much cheaper run than it might look initially at the each-way price. The recent form lines behind Fine Star and Win for Buster, and then behind Charmer, beat home Spirited Strike, who won on the weekend. Yep. So there's just something to work with there. 9 for me, Tabba Tabba Boom. From 8, Philomea. 5 in Malagasy. Just looked like he needed further. Those 950 trials, too short for him. Good starting point for him. And 1 Diamond Warrior, but still very green. 9851.
8319 for me. Philomea on top from 3. Olaf the Snowman. I take your point that was a fast lane where he was in, but he did get to the line well and was good through the line. So the benefit of that run, the fact that the yard's humming, I'm happy to have him in the mix. 1 Diamond Warrior fresh and 9 Tabba Tabba Boom. 8319.
8316 TC.
8316 for Darren. All right, that's to go with Scott, 9, 8, 5 and 1, and Digby with 8, 3, 1 and 9. Closing in on the traffic, but we'll get through race number 3. We'll push on. Race 3, Tab Touch. You've got the Touch Maiden, 1,600 metres, and there's no scratchings. Miss Verve at $3.40, out from $2.70. $6 into $4, Last Mile. $6 in Solid Corsa Venetia. $12 into $7.50, Harris Road. $8 to $9 is Macho Aguero. Drifter at $11 is Yolda Knight after that first up run there at 2J. All right, race number 3 at Northam. Darren, favourite, had a lot of chances.
Yeah, a lot, yes. Fourth run in the preparation. I followed her first up. I thought that the way that she trialled Miss Verve, I went and rolled the dice over a mile first up at Northam. I thought that she ran terrifically in that maiden Bondi Star, a horse having her first run. Then they put a noseband on her next start, behind Startling Star, and the stewards reported there that she resented that, and also the fact that she was coming off just 6 days since her debut run, so it was a very quick step, and then brought her back to 1,400 last start, where she got held up in the home straight until well into it. That was the race that Lynchpin, who's a nice horse, and Hoya Destroyer ran 1 and 2. I think that's strong enough. I haven't seen enough in too many of her rivals, really, to suggest that she won't have any trouble beating them. I think this is her race, and back to 1,600 is her wheelhouse.
Back to 1,600, I'm big on that. And I think that they've just, with a very difficult reading between the lines mare, I think they've just figured out to ride her as cold as possible, save her up, keep her in one piece, because when Brad Parnham rode her those 2 runs, she travelled into it like she was about to slide straight on by, and then when he really went for her, there wasn't a lot left. So I think she just needs to be ridden in one particular manner. So good opportunity here today for Chloe and Miss Verve. This is as weak as it gets.
I agree. Yeah, she gets a look. She gets a really good look today.
Well, when you've got Last Mile at $4 there on the second line of the market, that suggests, and I'm no rap with the respect here for Last Mile, it was 6 into $3.90 early. I thought, hello, what's going on here? And it's 12 to 1,600 metres at had a excuse of some sort last start to He's a Phoenix, but I hadn't seen all that much previous to that.
Well, an easy comparison to make is Yelda Knight went around $10 at 2J. We'll go around $10 in this. So it's more or less
your numbers,
maiden handicap types. Yep. I'm going to go Last Mile. I quite like the last start run behind He's a Phoenix, who's won on a Saturday, behind Mr. Kissinger, who's a winner, behind Must Be Nice, who's a winner. 7 Last Mile, 6 Miss Verve, down to the 9 in Corso Venetia if Rocky could lead with 51, and 4 Harris Road, who kept battling on but beating a massive margin. 7, 6, 9, 4.
Same 4 numbers, different order for me, but I'm here 6 Miss Verve from 4 Harris Road. I think he'll probably be better over further. He looks like grinding type. 7 Last Mile, question mark at the mile for me, and 9, I agree, Corso Venetia with Rocky on, expecting him to be nice and positive and perhaps strings them out a little bit. 6, 4, 7 and 9.
Yes, same 4. Order slightly different, 6, 7, 9 and 4. Good money Harris Road early when the markets were put up there. They tried to pinch a little bit of overs. It was 13 and now into 7.50.
All right, that's Darren, 6, 7, 9 and 4. Scott with 7, 6, 9 and 4. And then Diggers with 6, 4, 7 and 9 in race number 3 today at Northam.
This midweek Metropolitan Preview on the Sports Daily is presented by Tab Touch.
All right. I suppose halfway through the program at Northam, we'll call it that. 3 races down, 4 to go. The maths don't quite work out, but we'll roll with it. 12, 13 and 14 come out of race number 4 there at Northam. The Tab Touch Share My Bet maiden over the 1,400 metres, and surely today is the day for the favourite Hoya Destroyer at $2.15. Backed in from a top fluck of $2.60. Vexatious Rose at $4. Invincible Thief, who hasn't trialled too badly, at $7. Rebelato at $8.50. And Delicate Warrior at $10, heading the remainder of the field. Betting-wise, it's basically been one-way traffic. There has been a little bit of support for Vexatious Rose, but it's all about Hoya Destroyer. Scott, your best bet of the day?
Today's the day, TC, and if not, it's a long drive home from Northam.
It is.
I just think... I think that this is his opportunity to finally put his head down. That race behind Max Verstappen sectionally was ludicrous. They walked so slow the first 800, and he was at the back and over-racing chronically. It was a nightmare for Stevie Parnham. And then last start, I thought he was really good behind what we think could be a very nice 3-year-old in Lynchpin. Post-race, Darren McCall said Lynchpin looks like his Derby horse for this year, and this weekend will take him straight to a graduation on a Saturday. So for Hoya Destroyer, he ran second. Vexatious Rose ran third. You might even get it in the previous with Miss Verve, who ran seventh in that form reference. I think it's the right race. I think he gets the right run, and I think he can hold off Vexatious Rose in what looks a fairly obvious Quinella.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Hoya Destroyer very much in your corner here. Vexatious Rose, I've liked the 2 runs, both from awkward gates in this campaign. I just wonder if she might not be looking for 1,600, not 14, and this is where I think Hoya Destroyer can cover off and get this job done today. You talk about that Max Verstappen race there. He'd run second. Pharaoh Show had run third in it, and that form was enhanced with a win and placing out of it. And then, of course, bumping into Lynchpin, having to go back from a wide draw. It was a good run. I think Lynchpin's a horse we're going to be following very closely in the near future. So, number 2 with me, Diggs, Hoya Destroyer.
Yeah, I'll make a clean sweep. Yep, clean sweep for me.
To beat 8, Vexatious Rose, a Delicate Warrior first up 1,400 metres. You start looking around and seeing placings to playing around, and Machine Gun Gracie, from its last preparation, it was really solid. What have you made of its trials here? It's coming out of a very difficult lid.
Hard to tell some of those trials with a junior rider, so somewhat more forgiving than maybe the eye was. The other David Harrison runner in Invincible Thief, I thought she trialled quite well behind Diamond Scene. She also trailed in Blinkers, which is a bit odd. But I've got them 2 from 8, 6, 10. I'll include On Debut, Gilded Rain, with a set of shades going on out of the trials. 2, 8, 6, 10, but today the day for Hoya Destroyer.
Okay, 2 for me as well. 8 Vexatious Rose, 3 Delicate Warrior, 1 Ribolato. And look, at $51, I wouldn't give up on Abstracted just yet. There have been a myriad of excuses there for her. She shouldn't be $51 in the betting. Look, she might be a fluker's hope of running into a leg of your exotic in the race if you're looking for a Maddie. So 2-8-3-1, Dig.
2-8-6-1 for me, Darren. TC, Scott. I'm with Hoya Destroyer. Gets his opportunity today. He's racing well. Looks a really good setup for him. 2-8-6-1 for I.
That's for Diggers. Scott with 2, 8, 6 and 10, and Darren with 2, 8, 3 and 1. Race number 4. Tab Touch past the post payouts. Handicap Class 1, 1,100 metres. Race number 5 at Northam today. So Perfect Chant comes out. Probably one of the more interesting runners on the program. I'm not too sure about you, gentlemen, but she was difficult to place in this race, I thought. Heatherwood, the favourite, at 340. Sesh at 390. King's Drama at 460. Manjiri at 6. Mama Bell at 7. Snip of Romance, $9. And Bonnie Rock at 12. So all runners, all 7 of them, between $3.40 and $12. Diggers, I thought that summed it up.
Yeah, that's probably right. Perfect Chant. Yeah, you're right. She was a hard horse to assess. I'm not sure where Darren and Scott had her in their numbers, but I sort of had her for third.
Barely. Jury's right out there with me, Diggs.
Unfortunately, but anyway, hope all is okay with her. Very even race. You've got Heatherwood, who they were climbing out of trees to back and got the money. The form out of that race has been a little bit so-so, if you're to be kind. Tough race, and the market reflects that. I thought the effort the other day, and I know he rises the obligatory 2 kilos from a maiden to a Class 1. King's Drama, I thought the first up 4th was okay behind True Fiction, and then dead heating with Mr. Kissinger. It was a decent enough effort. Now he is 1,200 back to 11, and he probably settles a little bit worse than midfield, but I think he's a horse with a little bit of upside, to be fair. He's certainly come back in good order and is reflecting the way the yard's going.
Well, three last start maiden winners, all back in distance. So Manjiri, 13 back to 11. King's Drama, 12 to 11. Heatherwood, 12 back to 11. Does it suit any of that trio?
Don't know. We'll find out.
And you had Manjiri leading last start after, backmarking its first 2 runs, but who leads here when you're coming back to an 1,100? Is it going to be left to a Sesh? Is it going to be left to maybe from barrier 2, Snip of Romance?
I know that he's drawn outside of Manjiri, but I'm team Sesh.
Yep.
He's placed twice leading at 1,200 metres, so I don't think the distance holds any reservations.
So it might map okay here, Diggs, for your pick in the race, King's Drama. I'm with you. Always the concern out of a maiden into these Class 1s when you've got to carry the 60 kilos. The strike rate for horses doing that isn't particularly great, but he does, as you rightly say, show upside. And in a challenging race, I'm 3. I thought that Mama Bell, she could be an on-pacey type mare fresh today, first up. I thought the trial was good given the fact that she covered a fair bit of ground on the speed in the trial. I know Storm Lord failed first up at Bunbury coming out of it, but I think if you assess the trial just for her alone, it was good enough. And she's coming out of a nice enough draw. She's a bit of a value leg at $7. What do you do with Heatherwood? You touched upon the avalanche of money that came and got the job done, beat another well-tried horse in the race, Doble Onada, who failed at its next start. So that's a concern to me at least. And then you've got Manjiri coming back from 13 into an 1,100, $13 into $7.50 before the scratching of Perfect Chance. Sits at $6 this morning. But where does it get to here? So, yeah, there's a lot of questions, and I don't know if I've got that many answers, really. I'm going to be in your corner, though, Digby. 3, King's Drama. The form of the stable, very good. To beat 6, Mama Bell, 2, Heatherwood, 4, Manjiri. That's as much as I can offer there in the 5th.
And the other thing about Perfect Chant coming out is it's now pay 1-2 as well.
Correct.
So you can't even sort of get involved in one each way. 5 for me, Sesh, first up, overdid it on a soft 7. Second up, much better behind Surfside Session. Third up here today in a race where I thought they could go forward, looked a bit more suitable. 2, Heatherwood. 6, Mama Bell. Sat 3 deep the trip, no cover in that trial and kept coming. And 4, Manjiri. 5, 2, 6 and 4.
3, King's Drama on top from 5, Sesh. 2, Heatherwood. And 6, Mama Bell, TC.
3, 5, 2 and 6 for Digby. Macca, you were 3, 6, 2 and 4.
3, 6, 2, 4.
Yep, well done. And Scott 5, 2, 6 and 4, race number 5. Race number 6, Tab Touch. Have you got the touch handicap? Class 5, 1,600 metres. Frappuccino comes out number 6, so some of the speed taken out of the race. Worcester, the source, $3.70. $3.90, I'm Napoti. $4.20, Covert Rose. $6, Atlanta Speech. $6.50, Major Mario. Did a good job after getting flattened last time. Harbin 14, Skedder 15, Estimator at $23. Who would like to start? Anyone want to put their hand up?
I think this is the best race of the day, TC. It's a good little race. I can make a case for each of the top 5 and a genuine case for each of them. Let's start with the speed. Frappuccino comes out.
Yeah.
The big beneficiary of that surely is Worcester.
You would think so?
He looked like he was drawn a bit tricky with Frappuccino in the race, drawn outside Frappuccino, outside Estimator. Now all of a sudden he should be able to march his way across into a good spot. No? Crickets? Sweet.
Oh, no, with Estimator. I thought Worcester and Estimator would probably pair off in front, and you could certainly envisage here that a horse like Major Mario is going to get a nice enough run. He'll need pace on. Maybe that's come off a degree with Frappuccino scratching. And Atlanta Speech will probably have to be sitting in behind them. Where do you see him, like 1-3?
Something like that.
In transit? And for that reason, I think one of the significant parts about the race is that whilst he's only won 3 of his 35 starts at Atlanta Speech, there's been a common denominator. S. O'Donnell's been on board every time. And he gets back on board this afternoon, all wins. And his last win was in this class. And I thought that the effort last start to Stormageddon, stronger company, off the course was very good. That was off a return at 1,300 where he got back in the field and was beaten 5 to Eccentric Nature. I think that form's very good for this type of a race. So I'm happy to play Atlanta Speech to bounce back into the winners list.
So am I.
He'll need a little bit of luck. I'm actually with Atlanta Speech as well.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
He's just a horse who is going to need a tempo. We sit here and we go, well, it doesn't appear to be a great deal, but I'm in agreement with Darren in regards to Estimator and Worcester. I thought they could perhaps be in the prominent positions, small field suits. He does have he does have a turn of foot on occasions at Landis Beach, and the best version of him is competitive in a race of this nature. And if you're thinking eccentric nature, he was successful again on grand final day at a short quote. And Storm again, we had a good chat to Liam and where they see this horse. So at Landis Beach, each way, not the worst way to approach this race. And I agree with Scott, though, this is the best race of the day.
And it's probably the most suitable race that he's been in for such a long time, Atlantis Beach. He does a lot of racing outside the handicap in races that are probably just a little bit above him.
Yeah.
And then Cliffy Green's only got a handful of horses, but they are going well.
They are indeed too. Look, with Worcester, you know what you're going to get. You're going to get a horse who's going to give you a genuine performance. He's at his wheelhouse, 1600 here once again. And he's going to park and ride the speed. So you know what you are going to get there as far as Worcester is concerned. So I've got him as the danger. Covert Rose, whether or not she can carry 60, it's W. Pike. Major Mario would need the pace on, but back to 1600 I thought was a tick there for him. I'm going 4, 3, 1 and 2.
4, 5, 1 and 3. Only addition for me is I'm Napoti, who was getting through the line really well behind the stablemate first up. Second up straight out to 1600. 4, 5, 1, 3.
4, 1, 2 and 5. Atlantis Beach from Covert Rose, 2 Major Mario and 5 Omnipote. I love the return behind the stablemate. 4, 1, 2, 5.
4, 1, 2, 5 for Diggers. Scott with 4, 5, 1 and 3. Macca, you were 4, 3.
4, 3, 1 and 2.
1 and 2. All right, beautiful. 1 and 2. Major Mario looks to map beautifully in that race. Just race number 7 at Northam. Tab Touch supports Northam Race Club. Class 3, 1,300 metres. Take out 7, 9 and 13. 280 now. There are some scratchings there. Rain Line was certainly in the market. 280 into $1.90. Fast Harry now. Divine Beautiful at $4.60. $10 Golden Kathleen. $12 Pure Obsession. $12 Hobor Meteor. $14 Ishker. $15 Our Nemesis. 20 and up. The remainder of the field. How do we finish the day, Digger B?
Yeah, well, I'm with Fast Harry here, TC. The 2 trials, I thought the first trial was good, the second trial better, faster time behind a handy enough one in Scorpion Ruler. So he'll settle in a rearward spot, you would think, from that gate, fresh, but I'm expecting that Fast Harry is going to be able to run past them here. I think he is a horse with some upside for mine.
Yeah. I've always been a believer in Fast Harry. He is, however, going to get short. I mean, he already is. He's odds on. It's just the difficulty of backing one of these lightly raced horses of Grant and Alana's, especially when Willie rides them, is that they get so short.
That's the point of difference here in terms of what you know of the horse's ability and what they're capable of. If you're prepared to marry that up to the price, take the price there and roll the dice first up. And if you go back to his first up run, $1.40 there, he finished off the race well, but found the 1200 too short there to Cantrix, our Paladinella horse that you've got a lot of time for, Scotty, and then bounced into a 1400. It was impressive. At Ascot, came off the camber, and it was Spinnaker up. Gee, it was a good performance in victory.
And then what I loved about it was they tipped him straight out.
Oh, look, I'm keen about Fast Harry to win the last of the day. I think whatever beats him will win, and if he realises his potential, which he clearly has a fair bit of there, he'll kick off this campaign at 1,300, which is another, I think, ideal starting point for this horse, somewhere in the middle of those first 2 runs that we saw of him last time around. So happy to be with 4.
Fast Harry for me as well. Tip no bet. If I was to play devil's advocate, Social Affair the other day was the first provincial winner out of that race. Prior to that, there'd been 39 runners for 2 country winners. So he beat nothing that day, but it was more the manner in which he did it. 4, Fast Harry. 5, Pure Obsession. Trialled without shades, got landed into the 72-plus trial, so racing against horses with far more ability or exposed form than what he had. I didn't think he was terrible, so I've got him in for second with the shades going on. 6, Define Beautiful, backed in grade, maps nicely. She's definitely showing a bit more consistency now. And 11, I've got in there, Champese. Had her first run for Nikita Barber, nearly should have beaten them. Was a great run behind Hymns of Eladir, got held up horribly on straightening and then charged late. 4, 5, 6 and 11.
Or the fact that Champese is still $20 there, because I think it is, if not a danger, it can certainly run second to Fast Harry. It's my clear second pick in the race, Champese.
Number 11.
Yeah, it's only had 4 runs, I think, overall for Nikita.
Wouldn't be many.
And they've all been really good runs. So I'm happy to have Champese right there. Our nemesis first up, well, he is a bit of an enigma. I think if he brought his best fresh, he would be right there, very competitive. And like you, Scotty, I think Define Beautiful has found a little bit of consistency with the form. So 4, 11, 1, 6.
11, 1 and 6. All right, Digby.
Okay, my best comes up in the last here. That is Fast Harry. Expect him to be awfully hard to beat off what he's produced previously in the 2 trials. 4, 2, 11 and 5 for me. So Fast Harry on top from 2 Golden Kathleen, 11 Champese, Love the Return, and 5 Pure Obsession. 4, 2, 11 and 5.
That's for Digby. Scott's with 4, 5, 6, 11. Darren's with 4, 11, 1 and 6. Okay, Scott, best bets?
Race 4, number 2, Hoya Destroyer.
That's it, just the one?
Singular.
Okay, Darren?
Best for me, race 4, number 2.
Okay.
Hoya Destroyer.
Lovely. Scott, give us a play of the day, please.
Race 2, number 9, Tabba Tabba Boom to run a place. Into race 4, number 2, Hoya Destroyer, the win, $6 the double.
Okay, place into a win. Darren?
Mine will be race 5, number 4, King's Drama. Now, the price there at the moment is 460, and you can roll that into Atlantis Beach, race 6, number 4, and it's $6.
Okay, a win multi.
There you go.
Featuring Atlantis
all
Beach.
Win multi, yep.
Wow.
King's Drama, Atlantis Beach.
That's what you call gutsy.
Just collect.
Just collect.
Get in the queue.
All right. Gentlemen, enjoy Northam.
Yeah, by the way, my lay for the day was going to be perfect chance, so I've done a real good job there.
Well, you can't win.
No. I've got nothing else.
Take a horse on, Scott. Would you like to put your you-know-whats on the table?
Yeah, I think Covert Rose is on a mark.
Okay. All right. Enjoy Northam. We'll try again.
Thank you, mate. Good as gold.
Happy calling and happy broadcasting, Scott.
Can't wait, TC.
Yeah, well, you sound good
Fired
anyway.
up.
Yeah, look forward to tuning in. Race number 7 will be right on our knees.
Northam today, York tomorrow, back at Ascot Saturday.
Ascot Saturday puts a spring in the step.
It's certainly going to be good.
Inside running from 8 o'clock.
Beautiful. Thanks, mate.
Looking forward to it. All right, we'll head out to a break.